So it's been about a year since I got my first camera that wasn't just a cheap point and shoot, and since then my interest in bird photography has grown, and I believe my abilities have as well. I felt like the 1 year mark would be a good time to make a video looking back and seeing how far I've come. I started out just using my phone, and when that wasn't enough, I'd grab a cheap point and shoot I found in a box to get a little further reach. Obviously, the photos out of these weren't going to be great, but I still tried. I used the phone a lot more for landscape photos since it was wider and limited to the 3x zoom and 8 megapixels when I eventually started trying to get pics of the elusive seagull and rock pigeon. That didn't last too long before I wanted something better, so I started doing a little more research and looking around for a cheap mirrorless camera. That's when I found my Olympus EPM2. I never did use it too much for birds, as I never actually got any lenses other than the kit zoom. I did get some shots of ducks and swans and the occasional crow, but that's about it, other than a greater yellowlegs, that I just did not have the reach to get the bird larger than about 4.5 pixels in the frame. However, that was when I also first tried macro extension tubes and started taking photos of my pet Neocaridina shrimps. Check out my Instagram at Neocaridivas to see my fancy shrimpies. After a while with that camera, I decided to buy something different, but stay cheap. I wanted to go with E-mount since I'm a Sony fan, and because I liked the adaptability with older vintage lenses. So I picked up an A5000 with kit lens when I found a good deal. February was when I found a couple of vintage zooms at a local thrift store for cheap, and adapted them to my Sony body. One of the lenses is just really blurry and soft, plus the aperture doesn't really work. Something I've been meaning to fix. The other lens wasn't too bad though, and being an 80-205 meant I had a lot more reach than the 16-50 kit lens, an equivalent of just over 300 millimeters. With the further reach of my new old lens, I slowly went further into the rabbit hole of bird photography. Still a lot to learn, but I was quite proud of the photos I managed to catch within my first few months. All with manual focus. While they weren't in focus, I was really lucky to get the set of the adult junco, ripping open the spider nest and feeding the baby. Once summer came around, we started going camping a lot more. And while staying at the park, I found many new burbs, though most are quite common. And then I was promptly outsmarted for a week by a sandpiper. After getting a token of 400mm prime for my birthday, I went back determined. I've used this lens all summer since, getting lots of photos of smaller birds I could find locally. I've missed a lot of shots with no autofocus, but I find it both fun and relaxing in a way, and almost like a game at times. I had a hard time deciding, but here is a selection of my favorite photos from the summer with my Tokina 400mm f5.6. I'm still fairly new to this hobby and still have a lot to learn. I feel like I've improved and learned quite a bit, but it's only the start. Which was your favorite bird photo? Let me know down in the comments, and why not subscribe to come along with me on my future adventures. Until next time, thanks for watching and have a great day.